Hi, this video will talk about layers in Adobe Illustrator. They're very important for making items go on top or below each other. The layers panel is located right here. It looks like a graduation cap without the tassel. That's how I usually explain it. If you click this, you can see we only have currently one layer. On this layer, you can see that there is in this little thumbnail some drawing. However, you can actually select that drawing by opening this little caret, this little down arrow. It's called a caret usually in design terms. You open it up and you can see the items that are on that layer. On this layer, you can also turn on and off the items by clicking this eye. That hides and shows each item. You could lock an item if you wanted to make sure that it didn't change throughout the process of your design. Sometimes it's very good. Sometimes if you want to select objects that are overlapping each other, you could lock a certain object and then it wouldn't be able to be selected. But I tend to leave things unlocked if I'm doing a design and it's a basic design. But here we go. The layer is currently colored blue, so everything that I select on this layer will be highlighted in blue. If I select this target here, either one, because there's only one thing on the layer, the entire layer will be selected. If you select the layer one, if you select the path itself, the path will be selected. That shows that I'm working on this layer. Alright. Next up, figuring out how to make more layers so we can actually make things go on top of each other or behind each other, hide some things, share some things, or show some things that you might not see because they're hidden behind other objects. In order to do that, we need to hit the plus button in order to get more layers. I'll do 3 layers just so you can see how it stacks up here. And I'm going to minimize this layer. Layers 1, 2, and 3 are right here. They, as you add layers, get added on top generally. And you can think of these layers like a birthday cake, like a cake, layers of cake, right? The layer on the bottom is literally on the bottom of your design, the layer on the top is on the top, and the layer in the middle is, well, in the middle. And if you keep adding layers, it's that same stack, all right? That same layered method, that same stacked method. From here, knowing that I'm working on the blue layer, let's say I want to create a second object and I want to put it behind this one. In order to be able to see that, I'm going to change the fill of this item to some color, select yellow for this point, and I'm going to copy this item, copy it, and then I'm going to put it onto layer 2 by selecting this and selecting the target. If you select in the blank area, you get a different result than selecting on the letters and the numbers, the name of the layer. So make sure you're selecting, if you want to go to a layer, select on a blank portion of the area, right in here. All right, and this target is a nice option as well. All right, I do both. All right, once I'm here, before you get working too much, please check your settings. If you go into this 3-line menu here, if you go down here and you look at this and it says paste remembers layers, what that does is if it's checked, it's not checked right now, but if it's checked, when you paste something, it'll paste it onto the layer that it came from. Because it's not checked, and that's generally the default, but it can be changed, and sometimes it's not. So give it a look to make sure it's set to what it is right now, which is unchecked. It's not checked. Paste remembers layers. So in other words, paste is not going to remember layers at this point because it's not checked. When I have an object cut, which was this object here, copying it, Control C, right, and go into here, the second layer, Control F, and now I have a red layer. And that same object, I used Control F, so that pastes in front, which also pastes in the same spot, pastes in place. A red layer that is showing the same design right on top of itself. All right, and it's directly above it. I'm going to change this version to green just so you can see it, and then I'm going to move the layers so you can see how it works. So you can see here in the thumbnail, the layer 2 is on top of the yellow one. If I select in a blank area of the layer, click and drag, you get this blue highlight. The blue highlight is where the layer is going to drop, or where the object is going to drop in the layers panel. All right. If you put it underneath something, it'll drop into there, and it'll drop underneath it. All right. If you put it above it, it'll go above it. You can also add them to layers by selecting and like highlighting the other layer, and it will go into the top of that layer. All right, so now layer 2's, which was formerly its own layer, is now on layer 1, and it's actually a sublayer within layer 1. So if I turned off layer 1, I see nothing. All right. In this case, I'm going to pull that back out to make it layer 2, and I'm going to show you that it's 2 layers by going like this. Right? There's 2 layers. You can turn on and off the layer by moving the eye, as mentioned before. Clicking the eye, I should say, not moving it, clicking it. All right. And if I wanted to move only the green, but I didn't want to move the yellow, I could lock the yellow layer and attempt to click and drag, and only the green layer would be able to be selected. If I didn't have that locked, and I clicked and dragged, everything would be selected. So that's a fun way, a very easy way to make sure you are selecting the item you want to select, especially if they're overlapping each other or near each other, all right? Using that lock feature. That is the basics of layers. There are other things in here. There's a lot of different things you can work on in here, but that's the basics. Use the layers wisely, and also name your layers so you know what they are. So this could be the yellow layer, this could be the green layer. Name them something relevant. All right. I did that by double-clicking the word itself. All right. Other than that, you can also double-click the layer in a blank spot, give it a name here, it'll have a little pop-up, and you can change the color of the layer. If you have a lot of layers, your colors might get very close to each other. It might be like a light red and a dark red. You can change the colors of the layers to any color you wish. All right. Click OK, and there you go. That is the basics of layers. If you want to get rid of a layer, simply click the layer and hit the trash can. That gets rid of everything on that layer. So make sure you're getting rid of everything that you want. And it'll even warn you, yellow contains artwork. Do you want to delete this layer? Yes, I do. There goes my yellow layer. Now I only have 2 layers. All right. Just beware of the work that you have on there. Okay, that's layers. Nice.